interpretive dance throughout GA. You'll see. You have them?
How about for if anybody requests who's running to be able to vote in the given election in which they're in, because they're technically allowed to. Sure.
Wait 5 minutes. I know we want to get started.
No. During elections,
Oh.
they'll be on the hall for discussion. I imagine they won't
Yeah,
have
but
to
they're coming.
excuse themselves. Do we want to let them back in before they're voting on the position?
Yeah.
Andy Brown. Do we want to let people back in before voting on the position, even if they're in that position, so they can vote on it still? Or do we want to just hold off unless somebody like specifically requests to be?
Tell everyone that's what you came up with, and this is what you picked this, here's your court report.
Do we just want to call them in after we close discussion for the vote? Now.
Yeah. Keep calling them. I have a right to it. But are they all just moved up?
That's what I imagine too. But they're technically still not allowed to do that.
I don't think so, because I didn't get to vote for parliamentarian.
Okay.
So I'm gonna base it on that. No.
So it was like this. No, talking to Andrew, I already filled it out. Look, where's Steve and Karen? USG's going out. Yes, I think. Yes. Here. And Karen's going, oh my god, I just don't know. Please get me out of here. I can't wait to go to class. It was pretty great. It was a great day. And he filled it out.
They do?
Yeah, well, we were sitting there and I was telling her I wasn't going to. I love cake.
In the closet. That's what I did.
Hi guys, as soon as you can, please get settled so that we can start on time. We're looking at a pretty full meeting this evening. Good evening, everyone. Please feel free to get food, but please do so quickly so that we may start our meeting. So last GA, can you believe it? The whole year. And it's a jam-packed meeting, and it's nice to see everybody in their summer attire. Hopefully the weather will reflect as such. And why am I speaker today? I'm greedy, and I like to take over people's positions. No. Unfortunately, Speaker McKee has lost his voice this evening. I know, it's unfortunate, but so I am taking in his stead, but he's sitting by me for moral support, so it'll be good. But without further ado, Secretary Brown taking attendance for the last time.
Representative DeBaz. Representative Gallo.
President voting.
USG Member of the Year, Gallo, let me rephrase. Representative Huffman. Representative Sabe. Representative Fitch. Representative Ratliff. Representative Razavi. Representative Tran. Representative Asan. Representative Vaughn.
President voting.
Representative Cunningham. Representative Ha. Representative Digby.
President voting.
Representative Shu. Representative Heck. Representative Haight. Representative Sevier. Representative McHenry.
President voting.
Representative Ladelfa. Representative Butcher. Representative Komeyer. Representative Burleson. Representative Lambert. Representative Lindell. Representative Liu. Representative Cornelius. Representative Bruska. Representative Watts. Representative Feaster. Representative Payne. Representative Stump. Representative Shaw. Representative Alvarado. Representative Toomey. Representative Gladys. Representative Rangaswamy.
Present and voting.
Representative Ridgway.
Present and voting.
Parliamentarian Smith.
Present and toasted.
Treasurer Williams. Treasurer Schloff.
Present and flowery.
Speaker McKee. VP Dooner. Vice President Cruz.
Present and broing.
Vice President Cummins. Vice President Shaw.
Cowabunga and voting.
Vice President Hale.
Present and voting.
President Agarwal.
Present and not voting at my last meeting.
A quick note before we start. If you guys did not fill out my survey for the end of the year reflection, your name is up here on a survey which you can fill out during GA. If you hand it to me at the end, you'll get candy as well.
Cool. And with that, can we stand for the pledge, please? All right then, is there any old business? Vice President Hale.
I move to remove R21-08 from the.
All right, so as we are bringing this back from the table, we are going to move into discussion. I'm going to set 10 minutes for discussion. Are there any points? Vice President Hale.
Just for the sake of noting it, the title and the committees changed just to better reflect what we actually meant. But nothing substantial in it changed.
Are there any other points? No points? Is there a move to call? Representative McHenry?
Call the previous question.
Okay. So does everybody have their eye clickers? All right, get ready. We're going to go for a vote. And A is yes in favor of the resolution, and B is no to vote down the resolution. Unanimous. Hoping to see some great improvements to Veal in the next year. Now, are there any nominations for our 2 vacant positions in Weatherhead and Engineering? I know, it's like, oh my goodness. All right, is there a move to close nominations? Motion to close nominations? Yes, Representative McHenry.
Yes, I was just about to say, I move to close nominations for both the Weatherhead School of Management representative and the Case School of Engineering representative.
All right, done. Okay, with that, we move into our elections process, just like that. And so we have 5 positions to elect today: Speaker, Secretary, Internal Development Chair, Treasurer, and the Fall 2012 Elections Commissioner. Are there any nominations for any of these positions tonight? Any remaining nominations? And this person must be here to present. Any nominations? Okay, close nominations, correct? Is there a motion to close nominations? Yes, Representative Gallo.
I move to close nominations for Speaker.
Second.
Okay, and how about the other positions?
Yeah.
One at a time? Okay, so Speaker is closed. We have several candidates tonight, Representative Feaster and Speaker McKee. So if Speaker McKee could step out, and Representative Feaster, when you are, if you could approach the podium.
Okay, so I'll try to keep this brief so there's time for questions. Most of what I wanted to say is in my letter of intent. Just a couple of quick things I wanted to call attention to. We've all been privileged with great speakers this year, obviously, but there are a couple of changes that I would make if elected. They focus around two main things in terms of GA, one of which is just efficiency, and I do think that's actually improved a lot over the course of the year, but I would make an effort definitely to try to maximize participation from the maximum number of representatives, because I feel that that's the most important part, while streamlining our discussions so we get more done more efficiently, so we can move on, I get not in a hurried way, but in an efficient way from issue to issue. And then the second thing is, I love a lot of the stuff that we've done this year to try to make GA more fun. Like the Valentine's Day thing was really cool, and today, obviously, I'm sporting my lifeguard summer attire. I'm cheating because it's a sweatshirt, but anyway, so I'd try to do more things like that for next year, more fun events to kind of make GA a little bit, maybe less monotonous and something different and fun every once in a while. So with that, are there any questions?
Any questions for our nominee? Oh, Representative Vaughn?
You're a very vocal representative now. How would you do being able to keep your opinion to yourself next year?
Right, okay, so as speaker, obviously would no longer be my place to speak up during GA, but I have obviously been very vocal this year, and I think that that shows my commitment to student government and how important I do think it is for students to have a voice. And in speaker, my job would be to facilitate other people's having a voice. And I don't think I would be losing anything just because I would also be on exec. So that would be the proper forum for me to voice my opinions, and not so much, obviously, in General Assembly.
What would you just mentioned exec, what would you bring to exec if elected? What is there like a change you'd like to see for exec?
I don't want to like throw around a lot of ideas, obviously, without being in exec ever. So I know a lot of the internal workings aren't exactly clear to me, but I do think that given the fact that I'm going to be a sophomore, I'd bring, I guess, a younger voice to the committee, as well as just some different perspectives. And as I've shown, I think this year, I'm really not afraid to show my opinion and the opinion of my constituents. So can I just wrap up that answer? Thanks. So I think that I would definitely add that strong voice that I'm sure exec already has plenty of, but just my opinion and the opinion of my constituents that I feel is obviously still important to get out there. Thank you.
Also, just a reminder to all candidates that you have about 2 minutes, 30 seconds for speaking time total.
Good evening, General Assembly. I'm sure all of you probably appreciate the irony of me running for speaker with a lost voice as much as I do. But that being said, most of what I would want to say is in my letter of intent. I guess just to hit the main points of stepping into this position a little, about a third of the way into this past semester. It's something I really loved. And it's something I'm really looking forward to a chance next semester to take on a full term of and really get to own and make my own. So I guess with that, I'm open to any points.
Vice President Shaw?
Yeah, so a couple things are looking at a little bit of our format for informal discussions, or how we handle those. I think they were used in a couple good places this past semester. either branching out where we do use them to make certain discussions flow easier, especially on any sort of controversial resolutions or anything. Another thing is indeed looking at the whole usage of Robert's rules. There are other parliamentarian guides that weren't written over 100 years ago and weren't written for the United States Congress that we could probably look at using and might be more effective for us. So those are, two things off the top that I'd like to look at.
So 2 things off of your letter. One, what do you plan to do to work with caucuses more, liaise with them, and perhaps in a way sort of unite them? And 2, could you explain your concept on limiting the number of times a person can talk and how that won't be detrimental to the process?
Yeah, sure. So caucuses, really fast. I think one is just sitting down with the caucus speakers after a retreat next year and setting a very good set of definite expectations about caucus meetings, how often they should occur, some of those things. Not so much that I'll step into the caucuses and be telling them what to do, but really making sure that they have a direction, or helping them form that direction and helping them stick to that task. In terms of a certain person speaking a number of times, a technical rule is there's a limit of 2 times for a speaker on a certain thing, but in terms of sometimes, certain resolutions become a discussion between 4 or 5 people almost. So even if it's not a hard limit, sort of making it so that other people have a chance to speak or encouraged to speak, that we don't want to hear just a few people on every bill. More of an encouragement thing than a strict, you're not allowed to talk.
Okay, thank you very much. If you could step outside, please. Previous question. Okay, thank you. Pick up your eye clickers, and we'll set, there we go. A is Matt, and B is Sarah Kate. And go.
Personal privilege.
Sure, granted. For the secretary position, Representative Assad, Representative Digby, Representative McHenry, Representative Ridgway, Representative Ringswamy, and before I do that, I forgot to ask, is there a motion to close nominations? Representative Shaw.
I move to close nominations.
Second. All right, so with that, could I please have Representative Digby, McHenry, Ridgway, and Ringswamy leave the room for our first speaker. Realize I haven't been doing it. Okay, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
All right, my name's Taraya, and I'm currently serving as a representative for the College of Arts and Sciences, and as well as the Student Life Committee. I'm running for secretary today because I possess the qualities and skills to efficiently do the job. I'm diligent and organized, and when in General Assembly, I can mindfully listen to everyone, and eventually I'd be able to compile those thoughts and ideas in such a way as to further instigate more effective discussions. And aside from the responsibilities within GA, available to me will be many resources. I can take advantage of those and help gauge our progress as an organization. And so not only will it be important for me to focus on our current General Assembly, I can also look back and find out what's important for us to focus on, and if something worked in the past, then maybe we can try it again, and also keep track of what works for us now. So, and then I'll be able to see how we've evolved. And I see myself working really closely with other secretaries to hopefully develop a universal approach to our responsibilities, and to continue to monitor our own progress with surveys and polls and stuff. I guess I'm also really excited to take attendance at the beginning of every meeting. So with that, I'm open to questions.
Any points for the speaker? All right, there are none. Okay, thank you. Digby, please. And whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, GA. As you know, I'm running for secretary. I guess I'll just start off with the reasons why I think I would be good for the position. First off, like I think you already know, I've been sitting in on all your meetings, taking notes for the past year. But also, I've been secretary for the USG Diversity and an inclusion committee, which I think has given me a little bit more experience to augment what I've already been doing with the Observer and make it more closer to what the Secretary of USG would be doing. So in that regard, I think I have the experience that is necessary. And I've spoken with Andrew about the position to fill in my gaps with that knowledge. If I receive the position, I would obviously carry out the designated duties, but I would also like to continue Andrew's surveys because I think that those offer a lot of value to the General Assembly. And as you see in my letter of intent, I might even add one more during the middle of each semester. But I would also like to increase correspondence with student groups. I think with the development of the ID chair, there's going to be more activity in USG internally. And at this time, I think it would be more important and I guess constructive for me to use my position to speak to student groups and just, like I say in my letter of intent, set out like cards and things like that, but also send out surveys to them. I was speaking to Jaisal about dealing with our rollover issue, and so my idea was that we could send out a survey to those groups just asking, you know, how are you spending your money, and if you aren't, why? And just beyond that, it doesn't even have to be financial things. We could ask how they think of GA and how we're helping them. So that's it. Any questions?
Okay, we have a couple of seconds for one or two questions, if there are any, for our speaker. Okay, thank you. And if I could please have Representative McHenry.
Right now is fine. Kind of nerve-wracking. Hello, GA. I am here to run for the position of secretary within USG. Most of what I want to say is in my board report. The one thing I really want to say is really the position of secretary is all about facilitating communication between members of the General Assembly, the different committees, the secretary, and it's about taking thorough notes, putting them online and sending them out through email. And I feel like I've become much better at that as the year has gone on. As most of you know, I originally ran for speaker early last semester, but I was relatively inexperienced then, but I've gained much more experience over the course of the year, and now I feel that secretary is a position that better suits my strengths. So with that, I'm open to points.
Any points for the speaker? Representative Vaughn.
You also are a very vocal member of the Assembly right now. How would you do keeping your voice back?
Actually, to be honest, that probably wouldn't be much of an issue. I tend not to be the most opinionated person in the world, so I feel I would do a pretty good job at keeping quiet and taking notes. I do it regularly with IT committee meetings, so that shouldn't be an issue for me.
Vice President Shah.
So I know you're also very involved in athletics in your summer. So how will you be able to manage your time, taking care of the agenda and getting here early?
That shouldn't be too much of an issue. Really depends on how the swimming schedule goes, but I can pull strings to make it here on time early. This should not be an issue. I will get things worked out. I have gotten things worked out in the past, so that's all I have to say up to that.
Any last questions for our speaker? Vice President Cummins?
What about that one time you took like a 3-week hiatus or something?
That's not going to happen again.
Not going to happen again? Okay.
I have learned many things from that, and it was stupid to do that, and it's not going to happen again.
Next, we will have Representative Ridgway, please.
Hello, G. I'm running for secretary, obviously. I want to run for this position. I feel that I have experience as in the freshman caucus, as being the secretary for them for the past year. I've wanted this position so I can like grow in GA and help. And I think that one of my strengths is that I'm a hard worker, and I feel that with this position, it will most like enhance my strengths that I can give back to USG. So that is why I want to run for the position. Everything else is in my letter of intent. So any questions?
Representative Alvarado.
What ways have you prepared yourself for this, or like learned about the position?
For this position, all I've really done is observe what Andrew Brown has done in the past year, and I've also read all of his how he does hit the minutes, and I've read minutes every week, and I really like the way that he goes about it. So I'll pretty much maybe tweak it a little bit, but mostly follow the way that he does it, just because I really like the format.
Vice President Dooner.
So I guess for secretary, it's important to, it's an important external facet of USG to have minutes and things. How do you view the external versus internal responsibilities of the position?
Could you be a little more?
I don't know. I mean, just do you have ideas outside of just taking good minutes and making sure they're on the website, or?
Obviously, I probably want to make them maybe share them a little bit more to make them more available outside, just to us, but basically make it more available to the general body of case and the student body. I mean, so maybe make them more, post them on our USG Facebook page, and make them more presentable, and make them more available to all of the students.
Any final questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Hello, GA. I hope everyone's enjoying their summer attire today. So one of the key reasons I'm running for secretary is, yeah, I'm usually the guy, and I'm sure I might get asked this, is, you love to talk a lot. I do. But what I've discovered through just living is that you don't necessarily need to talk to make an impact. You need to have an able body and an able mind, willing to go after and do things. I think my letter really speaks to the passion and the commitment I have for USG. And that's something that will be unwavering, regardless of the role that I have. In terms of ideas for secretary and my qualifications, I was secretary for student life. And actually, when I shadowed Andrew Brown, he told me about how he created he looked over the videos and found out how much time we spend on each topic. So I'm gonna be creating, through computer science, coding, a agenda where as I fill in stuff, it's gonna give us the time that we spend talking on things. So it's gonna be an automatic stopwatch that will tell us how much time we spent on things over time. So that'll help us a lot into the future when we wanna know how much minutes did we spend talking about Bill B21-17? Oh, well, according to the stopwatch, we spent 13 minutes. So that's sort of a creative idea that I have to sort of analyze, I guess, agendas. That's not in my letter of intent. However, that is something I'm considering doing. So that's pretty much it. My letter of intent pretty much goes through a few of the other things I've done for USG. Any questions?
Representative Shah.
So with that's a really cool idea. I was just wondering, how would you intend on applying that data that you collected in making the GA run faster?
Well, definitely I'm going to be working with whoever the new ID chair is, Matt McKee, and we're going to be looking at how we can sort of restructure that information. I'm going to also be using past data from Andrew Brown, see if we're improving in terms of time as well, because now we do have a history thanks to Andrew Brown. So those are a few of the ideas I have. Concrete things I'm not exactly sure yet, but I'm pretty sure that those can be developed over time.
Any last questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
the speaking, the voting order. Do we have enough buttons on our iClicker for this? Okay, good. Perfect amount. So as you can see, it's impossible to, well, it's not impossible to abstain, but yeah. We would still like to have everyone voting, so if necessary, yes.
So I guess how this will work really fast is vote for who you'd like to see as secretary. If no one person gets greater than 50% of the vote, we will remove the candidate with the lowest number of votes and then immediately vote again, and continue in that fashion until we get one candidate with greater than 50%.
All right, and we would like to congratulate Representative Digby, will be our next USG secretary. Okay, moving right along. So next we have elections for ID chair, internal development. We have, before we go on, are there any further nominations for ID chair? Any more nominations? Okay, is there a motion to close nominations? Okay.
Representative Alvarado, you were nominated, but we never heard back from you. Are you running tonight? We have 3 other candidates. Okay.
Okay. All right, so our confirmed candidates are Vice President Dooner, Vice President Cruz, and Treasurer Schlaf. I would like to make a note as well. This is a time to get food and drink. Please do not get up while someone is speaking at the podium. It's a little bit disrespectful. So you can get it now or get it during discussion, but while they're at the podium. So at this time, could I please have Vice President Dooner approach the podium and Vice President Cruz and Treasurer Schlaf to leave the room.
The caking occur. Yeah, you wanna? You guys can read my letter of intent.
Food people, we could either, if you are in line, if you could maybe sit down, and then while we go back into while we are transitioning, maybe get them later so we can start hearing our speaker. Okay.
All right, hey everyone. I think most of you guys know me. I'm Tom, the VP of IT. I'm a junior computer science major from Macedonia. So I'm running for internal development. My letter of intent sort of tells my story of how I got involved in USG. It was sort of a rough entrance. I sort of jumped into the deep end, and there were like sharks swimming around, and I'm surprised I survived. But I kind of did, and I think that right now, basically, you can read the letter, but more or less, here's why I want you to vote for me for this position. And the biggest reason is because I like to solve problems, big problems. And I think that there are some issues that USG faces internally, such as representative retention and advocacy. Making sure that we're doing our jobs well. And I think that I feel that I am qualified to observe, that I've observed ways in which we've sort of broken these responsibilities that we have and how we can fix them. There's some specific ideas in my letter. One of the big things that one of my big ideas on how to do this is through the caucus system. Right now, caucuses are they sort of ebb and flow in terms of effectiveness. But the really shining example is the freshman caucus. Every year, it seems. The freshman caucus just has it together. And I think that that's awesome. And if we could make every caucus like that, then that'd be cool. And one idea that I had towards that end is when we elect someone to fill a position in the middle of the year after retreat, for instance, that person needs to meet the caucus speaker. And it sounds so obvious, but I didn't even know the caucus speaker for weeks after I was appointed. So meet the caucus speaker, have dinner with them, something like that. So basically, that's my big idea, is make everyone in the caucus know each other. And from there, I think that'll set the course more straight than anything else we can do. I'm, I guess, open to questions if anyone's got
Any points for the speaker? Treasurer Williams?
As ID chair, you're kind of pioneering a new position. Could you briefly tell about maybe a time this past year where you've pioneered something new?
Well, I mean, I haven't. I look at my role as Vice President of Information Technology as something that I sort of had to come up with. I sort of came up with my own direction there because I didn't have a lot of transitioning into the position. I don't think I even met with Kelly after I was elected. Just didn't happen. So I didn't know what I was doing, and I sort of came into this position and did everything that I did. So if that speaks for itself, then hopefully it does. Thank you.
Hey everyone. First of all, I have a cold, so can't talk. I apologize for that. Secondly, I guess I really just want to say most of you probably know me in a casual, sarcastic kind of manner. I don't like to take things very seriously most of the time. But I guess I'd like to take this opportunity to be earnest with you. Don't freak out. It happens on occasion. But I guess I'm really interested in running for this position because I spent some time talking to Colleen closer to the earlier in the semester, I guess. And really was trying to establish my role for USG in the coming year or so. And I really kind of came to the conclusion that my passion lies in helping others to feel like they're doing the best job that they can. And I guess the biggest things that I see or the biggest ways I feel like those are enhanced, I guess, is because USG to me feels a lot like a family. And I guess I had a really good experience with USG this year in that I feel like I'm part of a family because I'm friends with so many of you. And maybe I didn't necessarily have that experience as a freshman, but making those friends this year is a lot of what kept me around because it made me feel like what I was doing was worthwhile. And I think that that's an experience that everyone in USG should be having, and I think that's something I can really help contribute to the group as a whole. And I guess my experience as VP of PR this year has kind of given me the opportunity to see that the best PR a group can have comes from within. And if your members are happy and feeling like their time is being spent in a worthwhile manner, that's the best way to PR a group. If your own members are talking about what a great time they're having and how productive they feel, that those are really the best ways to get your name out there on campus in a positive light. And I really feel like there's a big opportunity to step into this role and encourage that kind of behavior. And I guess I'm just really looking forward to working with the secretary and speaker this coming year and trying to split up the responsibilities that they have in working with caucuses for development and other groups. And I feel like it's a great opportunity to develop this role. And I think that I'd do a great job at it. So a few seconds for questions from anyone.
Any questions for the speaker? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, please. Okay, let us think of our organization, the undergraduate student government, in 3 parts. So the outside ring is going to represent our what, the what and what our organization does. Our purpose is to actively advocate the interests of the student body, provide our student organizations with support, and to promote leadership experiences. The next ring is how we go about accomplishing this. Well, it's clear that every Tuesday we meet and discuss certain issues around campus, and we make decisions on behalf of the students that we represent. Additionally, we spend time meeting with administrators and faculty and collaborating with other students to complete the tasks we've committed to work on. But the bullseye is the why we do what we do. Why are you a part of this group? Ask yourself this question. Is that being fulfilled right now? When we leave Case Western, the memories that we're going to look back on the most are not going to be about the GA that lasted 3 hours. It's not going to be about the Inception bill that we had last year. When we leave, the friendships and connections that we make with our colleagues will be more important to us. Therefore, I believe that there needs to be a balance between the business that we do and the fun that we have as an organization. It is my plan to put forth group activities that will allow us to enjoy each other's friendship and ultimately create a more positive environment for us. I see the USG becoming more of a family and creating a bond that we can see campus-wide. When we, the student government, can act as a united force, we will be able to accomplish greater tasks and better represent our colleagues at the university level. When we begin to work from the inside out, we're going to see that the how we do things will be more efficient, and the what we do will extend beyond our purpose statement and initial goals. Let's start working from the inside out. We need to go beyond fulfilling the what. It's about the fundamentals, building relationships and creating an organization that is inspired by the why. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions for our speaker? Representative Shaw.
Yeah, so I was wondering if you had any ideas on how to boost retainment, if that's a word, and retention. Thank you.
Retention.
Retention, and also for parts of the assembly, perhaps like the caucuses, how to get them more involved.
Okay, so I believe that we should create a lasting retreat. We have a big retreat at the beginning of the year, and right off the bat, we just need to start connecting the reps with one another. Start by doing little get-to-know-yous before GA, questionnaires, and small events that are going to lead us to get to know each other better for the assembly.
Okay, thank you. Representative McHenry.
Call the previous question.
Okay. And we have our options listed for us here. D and E being abstain. Read that number for me. Okay. We have our ID chair. It's going to be Tom.
Remember, if you want to get food, this would be a great time to get fast chocolate while this holding the lids.
Seriously, that's the best of it.
Tonight's cake is courtesy of Vice President Cruz and Speaker McKee. So, thought I'd throw some things out there while we're in this transition. Okay, so while the getting settled, happy to announce that our next ID chair is Tom Dooner. So now we are upon our treasurer elections, but before we can actually entertain our candidates, we have to decide on how many treasurers we want next year. So we will set 2 minutes for discussion time. As per our operating documents, we can elect how many ever treasurers we want. We can elect one or greater. Okay, we'll start. Vice President Shah.
I actually have, I guess like a clarification thing, but the way we did it last year was they were all listed and whoever voted, like you would vote for one, I think, and then whoever got the 2 highest votes, those would be elected.
Well, we can elect as many as we want, so we have to set a number
First.
and then we can do something like that.
Oh, well then I said 2.
Okay. 1 for 2. Representative McHenry.
I felt like 2 worked for us this year, so that's fine.
Representative Feaster.
I'd like to ask the current treasurers what they think, / the future VP of Finance, what they think.
Go ahead.
Quite frankly, if we could have like 50 treasurers, that'd be really helpful, but that's completely impractical. I'd say 2 is probably a good working number. But
Vice President Dooner.
Why is there more hassle to have 3 than 2 or something like that?
I think, yes. I think that there kind of comes a point where when you have 2 treasurers, you can play off each other a little bit better. And when you start to get 3 treasurers, I feel like you get too many hands in the pot, and it gets easy to lose emails or lose. But Ellen, you can.
I mean, yeah, I think there comes a point when I start seeing disbursements that Colin already viewed, and I end up emailing a student group, and Colin's already talked to, or whatever. There always is going to be a little bit of a disconnect. We can minimize that with just keeping the standard 2.
Any other points regarding the number? So we've only, Representative Feaster?
It's appropriate to call a previous question. Call it a previous question.
Okay, so now we will be, I might propose a vote by acclamation, which would, okay, so we officially have 2.
Is there any,
Second.
would there be any
Is there any
dissent to
dissent
having 2 treasurers set as the number for next year? Seeing none, then 2 treasurers it will be.
All right. So now, continuing, we have 4 candidates confirmed. I think actually 3 now. Representative Digby, you're going to have to withdraw from this election. Representative Ridgway, Representative Toomey, Representative Payne, and Representative Alvarado, you also were asked but did not confirm. Okay, so at this time we'll have Representative Ridgway stay, and if Representative Toomey and Payne could leave the room.
Did we close nominations?
Oh, excuse me. Well, are there any nominations for more treasurers? Is there a motion to close nominations? Representative Gallo.
I move to close nominations for treasurer.
Thank you.
Hello again. For this position as treasurer, this semester I kind of just stumbled upon finance committee. I had trouble with a lab, so eventually I just joined the finance committee through complications, and then I just fell in love with it. I love the finance process and how everything goes through it, and I really think that this position will just, I feel like I can maybe tweak it a little bit, because as I observe the treasurers as they do it, the communication between the student orgs and treasurers, I feel is very important, and we need to take that very seriously, because if they feel uncomfortable or if they are scared of the finance process, I feel that they might get more upset and won't be able, and we can't help them to their full ability. And I feel that as treasurer, that I really want to work on that communication, and just so that we can help the student orgs as much as possible. And also that that with the new president of VP of Finance, Colin Williams, I feel that anything that he asks me, I will be able to do it as hardworking, as timely as possible. Whenever I'm given directions, I always jump on it, do it as quickly as possible, and that would make his life so much easier. And then and we can move on with more important things. So I'm open to questions.
Vice President Shah.
So, back when I was treasurer, I used to do this, but would you be willing to take the time to present to the assembly, say how much money has been dispersed for that month or so?
Yeah, I kind of want to touch on this. I want more communication between us and GA also, because I felt the discussion 2 weeks ago about the appeals process, a lot of that could have been minimized if people knew about the rules and people knew why we had them. If we had more communications between the finance committee and everyone knew, that everything would have been so much smoother that night. And I feel if I did that every week or something like that, that everyone will be happier overall.
Any other points for the speaker? Oh, Colleen?
PR nightmare, I think the finance team is dealing with right now is collegiate link. And there's a lot that has to be worked on for next year regarding the student loans. What idea would you have to flush out how student orgs are really feeling right now about collegiate link?
I feel that it's very confusing and cluttered, and that if we made more of videos or something, have more of an information session on how to use it and make it more transparent to them how to use it, because it is confusing as a new person using Collegiate Link for Finance Committee. I feel that if we worked with them more and had more sessions or a required session, that would make it a lot easier. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Can I please have Representative Toomey?
So, hello GA, I'm Connor Toomey. I hope you all know me. I've had a really good time serving on Finance Committee this year, and honestly, Finance Committee has been one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had at CASE. I've been an active participant in several student groups that we fund, such as Fencing Club and the Footlighters, and I think that my student group experience will help me with a very broad perspective of the job of treasurer. After seeing both what we do and how the student groups see us, I think that I will be able to help with the job of treasurer very effectively. I've helped make how-to videos for Collegiate Link this year, and I hope that the student groups find those effective, and I would like to actually continue with that next year to continue aiding our student groups as much as I can. Also, as the treasurer, I'd be on the executive committee, and I would also really like to bring the student group perspective to exec. So does anyone have any questions?
Vice President Shah.
So, I'm gonna ask, I've asked it before, but last year when I was treasurer, what I used to do was every month I would give a report on how much money was dispersed. Are you willing to take the time to do that?
Yes, I'm willing to put in as much time as is necessary to do the best job that I can for USG and the job of treasurer.
Any other points for the speaker? Colleen?
How are you with adversarial emails or adversarial students?
I think that I deal with conflict rather well, and I'd be willing to sit down and negotiate with student groups, understand why they would be having issues, and work with them to resolve those effectively. And seeing how I'm running out of time, I'd try to keep things classy too. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
To me.
If anybody doesn't know me, I'm Laura. I'm one of the freshman representatives, and I've been on the finance committee this year. Since joining it in September, I just found that I really like it. And as nerdy as this might sound, I really just have loved getting to know the finance process. And recently I've worked with both Ellen and Colin on actual doing treasury stuff or whatever. And yeah, I'm just really nerdy. I just really like it. I think it's really cool. It's really interesting to me how it all works and fits together. And yeah, everything else is really in my letter of intent. So, questions?
Vice President Shah.
Every back when I was treasurer, every month I would reveal to GA the number of disbursements or the amount that was being dispersed that month. Would you be able to take the time and do that for every organization and present it to the General Assembly?
Yes, actually, it reminds me of during mass funding, I actually, the day before I was there with you, and I actually put together all the numbers of what the organizations had and hadn't used and what we had funded, and recent rolling funding and everything. And also, I don't know if I mentioned this in my letter or not, but I was the secretary of the finance committee this year, so putting that all together I think that would be a good thing to do, and that's a good idea of something to implement because GA should know exactly what we're doing.
Representative Shah?
So there is some semi-dense documentation on how student groups are supposed to go about financing procedures and things like that. And as far as I know from personal experiences, many of them choose not to read that and end up being clueless. And as a result, they miss out on a lot of opportunities where they could have gotten money and end up just becoming really annoyed because of their own deficiency in knowledge. How could you reach out to those groups and make sure that everybody's really well informed? Because I feel if they're really well informed, they're more willing to approach us.
Yeah, well, kind of touching on that, one of the things that I did discuss with the current treasurers is angry people from student groups coming at you and blaming you when things aren't going their way even though they did something wrong. And I think that I really I'm very open to working with student groups and trying to get them to best use the money they have as possible and make sure that they're doing it the right way so they can maximize what they have. Also, and I guess kind of going on what you're saying, we did just revise the student organization handbook and try and make it a little clearer to them. But as far as like treasury workshops and stuff, I would totally be open to working with groups or even like setting up individual appointments and working with them so that they know exactly what they should be doing.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
for whoever you would really like as treasurer, your top candidate, and then we'll go down from there. A is Levi, B is Connor, C is Laura, and I will start it now.
So
Are there
only
any
vote
questions?
for one at this time. Because you can't vote for two.
Yeah,
on an
because if you hit another letter, it changes to that letter. So you're not really voting twice. Okay.
Yeah. So the first time through, you'll elect one treasurer, and then when we have one treasurer with greater than 50% of the vote, they're elected, and then we move into an election to get the next one. That's sort of the best way to do it with the iClickers is that, or if nobody gets greater than 50%, the one with the fewest number of votes is removed, and then we only have two others who would then be elected. So it's sort of multiple ways for it to turn out. But
We go to 50 seconds.
Oh. Well, what's going on?
Oh.
Okay.
You could ask them to leave again.
Would you really like to ask it, Colleen? Because then we can ask the candidates to leave one more time. Okay. Sorry, candidates, if you could just leave one more time. We have a point of Representative Ruska? Granted. Is she leaving the room? She's leaving the room. Do we have quorum?
Take notes, or do you want me to have Dickie do it?
Okay, well, while we make sure we still have quorum, we'd like to congratulate Representative Ridgway and Representative Payne as our new treasurers next year. Okay, folks, one more. And our last elections for this evening will be for the Fall 2012 Elections Commissioner. Are there any more nominations for Fall 2012 Elections Commissioner? Yes, Representative Watts.
I'd like to nominate Ramaswamy.
Okay.
Accept.
Representative Liu? Granted. Any other nominations for Fall Elections Commissioner? Vice President Hale.
Representative Feaster.
Accept.
Point of inquiry. Are there any stipulations with being the election commissioner?
Not that I know of, no.
They can't be the president or the speaker of the assembly, and they have to be a USG member, though. Otherwise,
Okay, any further nominations for Fall Elections Commissioner? Seeing none, is there a motion to close nominations? Representative Digby. Is there a second? Okay, all right. So we have 4 candidates, Secretary Brown, Representative McHenry, Representative Rangaswamy, and Representative Feaster. And so if I could have Representative McHenry, Rangaswamy, and Feaster leave the room, and Secretary Brown.
Okay, how this is going to work, since I can't take notes of myself while I do this, Secretary-elect Digby, would you like to take notes during this election? We planned it out. Okay, hey guys, my name is Andrew. A lot of you guys already know me. The main thing I want to work on is already my letter of intent. The only thing that isn't in there that I want to work on as well is a lot of the years we have a lot of freshman representatives that come in, and we have a lot of people who run, but we do a very poor job of retaining the at-large members who run. So we had a couple. I personally started out as an at-large member, and it really has been influential and really has guided me through the way I've approached USG. And so besides everything I've listed on my letter of intent, that is a big thing I want to work on, is retaining and keeping in contact with the people who do not win their elections. So open to points.
Vice President Shah.
How are you going to be able to do both at once? Like start off really strongly with the election as well as start off strongly with your committee?
Great question. So at that point, the committee is not terribly solidified. The committee is not terribly set until after retreat, when you've set your goals and you know who's on your committee and all of that stuff. But at the same time, I am here for the summer and I'm not working. So I am here just chilling out, working on USG stuff and volunteering. So that is a big goal of my summer, is to work on preparing for elections, preparing for my job as an RA, and preparing for VP of IT.
Any other points for the speaker? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
This is a familiar place. Anyway, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm also running for this position. Most of what I want to say is, again, in my letter of intent. But the one thing I want to say about this position is the fall election commissioner is essentially the face of USG to any new and incoming students. Like, all the incoming freshmen, they don't know about us, they don't know us. The election commissioner is the first person they meet who's probably the first person they meet who is in USG. And you have to be a good first impression in order to be the fall election commissioner, and I think I can do that. I have been really happy with my time in USG, and I feel like I could pass the buck, if you will, pass that happiness on to someone else, motivate people to go out and run for the freshman caucus. That's really all I have to say. I'm open to points.
Vice President Shah.
So when you first joined USG, how was your first meeting with the election commissioner?
It was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I did make a few mistakes while campaigning, but I'm gonna spin this in a positive way. Now I know what those mistakes are, and I can tell people not to do those things. So, be it that way.
Vice President Dooner.
So the election is a giant event, and the biggest component is PR. So I was wondering if you could speak briefly about your sort of event planning.
Well, junior year of high school, I went to a conference in Washington D.C. where it was a congressional. It was like Model UN except it for U.S. Congress, and I was my caucus's lobbying coordinator, which is essentially the PR perspective. So I did all of that. I came up with all the slogans, all the posters, and stuff like that. So I have experience in that regard.
Representative Watts, do you have a point? Okay. Representative Shah.
What out-of-the-box and creative ideas would you have for trying to sell the campaign, not sell the campaign, God, for trying to PR the campaign to incoming students? What creative ideas would you have?
Really, I would have really put questions out there, if you like. What would you, I would ask the freshman people, what would you do to improve your campus? What do you think you can do to make a difference right out of the gate?
Okay, thank you very much. Colleen, if we could have Representative Rangaswamy.
All right, GA, well, I was nominated for elections commissioner. This is exciting. You have to be excited when you're a commissioner. One thing I can definitely say right now, I have 12 credit hours next semester in business. I'm gonna have plenty of time to just go out there, chalk like crazy, get freshmen excited. I will be living on North Side, so that helps because the freshmen live on North Side. And this is something that I'm really willing to do and able to do. I love to be involved on campus. I love USG. My letter of intent for secretary made that clear. So this is something that I definitely will hype up and something I'm willing to step in. So open to questions.
Colleen?
That being commissioner is when you have to kick someone out of the campaign. Have you ever had that experience before? You've had to be very confrontational.
Yeah, I mean, when you're, I guess, part of student groups in general, there are times when certain individuals are acting very disrespectful or rude to the point where it's like, I'm sorry, you know, you have to draw a line kind of thing. I'm not saying that's the same situation that'll apply to a campaign, but in the sense that I have dealt with people who have just either not done something they have to do or not, you know, been respectful, or we had to tell them, I'm really sorry, but there are certain, I guess, things that need to be done and policies that have to be followed, and I'm willing to be that voice if I have to in a stern yet respectful way.
Vice President Dooner?
I was just wondering what the most memorable part of when you were going through this process, what the most memorable part was, or something you'd
I loved the chalking, the time to go and talk with people, to mingle and to talk about USG. I love talking with current USG members thought that was really valuable, so I'm really gonna push for the, I guess, potential nominees to do the same. Not just me, but other members as well, in various committees. Because I think to get a more balanced picture, you don't need to just talk to a finance person or just student life. You need to talk with academic affairs, IT, etc. So that's something I'll really be pushing for. I'm willing to publish lists of the people in those committees kind of thing, so that, you know, they'll know, oh, I can talk to this person. And I'm willing to sort of create times when different committees go around. I'm willing to facilitate things to really reach out to the freshmen and take the next step as needed. So, thank you.
Hello again. If this seems random, I promise it isn't. I am short. I did want to run for this position. However, I was under the impression that by the time I had made my final decision that it was too late to submit my letter of intent and to be nominated for this position. So that was a misunderstanding on my part. So that, to explain why I was just nominated now. Basically, I stated a lot of the reasons that I would like to be on exec already in my previous speech, and refer to my letter of intent again, obviously. But for this specific position, I understand that the responsibilities obviously mainly pertain to the freshman elections. And given that I did go through the freshman election process, I do understand, obviously, the rules, and I'm more than happy to learn them more thoroughly. And there weren't any mistakes made as far as I saw, but in terms of if it was my job to make sure that the election procedure was followed, I am a stickler for rules, and I do think that rules should be respected and that elections should be as fair as possible. And I would uphold that belief firmly were I to be elected. So with that, are there any questions?
Vice President Dooner.
The elections is a big event with lots of PR. I was wondering if you could speak to your event planning history.
Sure. So the two obvious, my caucus was the freshman caucus, and we did do some events this year. Not all of them turned out the way that we would like to. However, I will say that our PR job was pretty good. I made Facebook events actually for two of the events which isn't, terribly complicated, but for two of the events, we did a lot of PR for those, which did work. People did come. And then for the Student Life Committee, I'm a big proponent of a lot of the events that we did there. And the main thing I was involved with was, in Student Life, was the Library Study Room project, the extension of those hours, which entailed me basically working with library staff, which involved a lot of communication, not necessarily PR at this point, but definitely external communication outside of USG. So I would look forward to doing more of that.
Representative Vaughn.
Do you have any ideas to get a commuter?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Do you have any ideas to get a commuter student representative?
Yeah. Actually, I was sort of distressed that we couldn't get one for the longest time. But I've met several commuters. I floated the idea of being in USG past them. Most of them were just, I know three of them that I spoke to, just didn't know what it was, even what we were, or why they should be interested in joining. And I think that comes as just not living on the campus full time. So I think advertisements in the commuter student lounge, where I know people do hang out, and more obviously involvement online, which is open regardless of whether or not you are on campus. So I think really utilizing the online resources in Facebook and the USG website, if we make that more user-friendly, to communicate the opportunities to all students, including the commuters.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
And go.
Again, instant runoff, greater than 50% vote, etc. I feel like I should just give you little portions of my voice for comic effect. I don't know.
Colin, we're good. Okay, I'm happy to announce that our Fall Elections Commissioner is Representative Feaster. All right. Well, before I continue, thank you all for an incredibly efficient, I would say, elections process, and for everyone contributing and letting that flow so smoothly. Thank you very much. I think we did that in great time. Is there any more old business? If not, is there any new business? Representative Gallo.
Move to introduce Bill B 21-29 to the Assembly.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, is there a speaker in the pro? Yes, Treasurer Williams.
Hi, everybody. We'll try to make this brief. This is Bill B 21-29. We realized that we actually only had like 3 student groups for next year because we hadn't technically fully recognized them. So we'd given them all money, but they weren't actually part of USG. So this is basically the list of all the groups that we gave mass funding to. I'd like to draw your attention just really briefly to 5 of the groups. These are groups that did not go through mass funding, but are now recognized or have been recognized in the past few weeks. The first is American Medical Student Association, or AMSA. They chose not to go through mass funding, so that's why they're there. The second is the Anthropology Student Association. Third, Case Veterinary Medical Association. Fourth, Crew Marketing Club. And fifth, Crew Undergraduate Consulting Group. Those are the 5, technically 4, new groups that we recognized in this past week's Finance Committee. So with that, I'm open to points.
Representative Shaw.
So the ones that you listed, they're not on this list?
No, they are. I just wanted to, you haven't seen them before in the other mass funding bill, so I just wanted to draw your attention that those were new groups.
Any other points for the speaker? Representative Gallo.
So just to clarify, passing this bill is pretty much just confirming what we previously thought. It's not enacting anything new.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Is there a speaker in the con? Okay, with that, we go into discussion. We are going to set 4 minutes for discussion, and also I'd like to remind the Assembly that even though this is a bill and it is related to finance, we will be passing this tonight, or we can pass this tonight. Probably should, just saying. That's just my advice. Vice President Dooner.
Just call the previous question.
Okay.
So A is yes to pass the bill, B is no, C is abstain. What?
Okay, so we have now recognized all of the organizations as Treasurer Sloth is exclaiming. Okay, well with that, this brings us to committee reports. And I'm up first, and I'll just give my report from here. I have 3 points. First, I really have to highlight the accomplishments from this past weekend for Relay for Life. Some of you may or may not be aware, but our cupcake truck and kickball tournament were huge successes. Oh, come on. All right, I'm going to continue with my report. Yeah, I'd like to recognize Representative Ladelfa and Representative Liu, especially for their hard work on this. They've been working on this probably way back since February, if not before. So, and I didn't forget, I have your pins as well, of course. You both deserve pins for that representative recognition program. And if you recall, President Snyder did promise to match our fundraising efforts, which she did. She did match it. I believe, Colleen, if you could correct me, $750 was matched. So if you see President Snyder, please thank her for her gracious donation to our relay team. Next, USG inauguration is this Thursday. I've been mentioning it many times. We'd love to have you there, especially if you RSVP'd, please be there. Dinner should be great. Please arrive at 5 p.m. I ask that all representatives arrive at 5 because we generally like to greet the administrators as they come in. We also have assigned seating, so we'll have some people leading the administrators to their seats and handing out programs. So there is work to be done, and it would be great to have help with that. So 5 o'clock, Thursday, Twing Ballroom, looking classy in your business professional, and it should be a lovely ceremony. And lastly, just want to thank you all, GA, for a great, great year. I think that despite that we have had some better meetings, worse meetings, I think overall it's been fantastic. I've certainly enjoyed them, and I hope you have too. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Colleen for her support throughout the year. I'm confident that Colleen not only individually supports our executive members, but representatives as well as and your leadership development, and we really, really appreciate that. I will take this opportunity to thank the executive committee overall for their hard work, and yes, and if they so choose to kind of touch upon their accomplishments from the year in their agenda at all, because there are certainly a lot of them, a lot to be proud of, and every one of you were involved with some of these in some aspect, and it's fantastic how long this list is. So again, thank you very much. And with that, I'm open to points. And whoever's responsible for this, I'm gonna get you, I swear. Okay, and so next we have student life.
Hello, everybody. James is passing the torch as soon as we are inaugurated. And this Friday, I'll be having my first meeting. We're going over posting policy, so if you're at all interested in it, it's at 3 in the USG office. Is it okay if I do diversity inclusion right now too? Okay. We are having diverse desserts tomorrow and on Thursday, and I really hope that you guys all stop by Nord from 11:15 to 1:30 Wednesday. Tomorrow we're having cannolis, and on Thursday we're having baklava. There's also a typo in the diversity inclusion memo where one of our executive members was mislisted. The secretary is Lindsay Dillon. With that, I'm open to points.
Any points for the speaker? All right, thank you very much. And next we will have finance.
Oh boy, my last time at the podium, tears. So I have a whole list of accomplishments, but one that I'm extremely proud of is my committee. They've done so well. I mean, I'm so glad I'm not the only person talking in GA about finance stuff. Like, they have become so knowledgeable, and I'm so proud that they are able to speak up during General Assembly. Besides that, was everyone able to get access to the internal disbursement form that I had created? I sent out the instructions on the agenda last week, but I just want to make sure that everyone knows how to get to that, because that's how you will have access to submitting disbursement forms. Because it sends an email directly to the VP of Finance, and then they can, as soon as they get the email that you've submitted your form, they can approve it. Any questions about that?
Any points for the speaker?
Thank you.
Okay. The treasurers have a report? No?
In between Friday when we checked and Monday when we checked, we got at least 60 disbursements, and that number keeps growing. So, and that's on top of everything else that has not yet been done. So we have a ton of disbursements to do. If anybody wants to come help, including the new treasurers, we would love that.
Please help our treasurers. Any other points? Any points for the treasurers? Okay. Academic affairs. Well, Steve's not here anymore, but you can check out his report. Obviously, Academic Affairs had a slew of great accomplishments, and that's a great picture. Okay, PR committee.
Happy summer, y'all. Summer's about being lazy, so I'm gonna give my report from here. First of all, it's our last rep spotlight of the night, or of the year, I guess. So I've got two awesome representatives. First person is a sophomore, narrows it down a little bit. Dream job would involve a lot of traveling all around the world. Weapon of choice in a world overrun by zombies would be high five and then run. Something on this person's bucket list is scuba diving. Have any guesses? Biggest pet peeve. Excuse me.
We have a guest, Treasurer Williams.
Is it Representative Tran?
It is. Biggest pet peeve. Biggest pet peeve is people who are late to things. Favorite movie as a kid is The Parent Trap. She's a nutrition major, and let's see, celebrity crush, Ryan Reynolds. I respect that. Let's see here. Our second person. Let's see. Dream job for this person would be to be in a rock band. Weapon of choice in a world overrun by zombies would be love. Let's see. Flavor of ice cream. This person would be mint because they're so fresh. Something on this person's bucket list is to get arrested. Favorite movie as a kid is Rocky. Let's see. Vice President Shaw. It is not. Ellen. It is. His celebrity crush is Barbara Snyder. And he is a Chem E, and he's senior. Sad fact. Okay, our treasurers are really on the ball today, I guess. Secondly, the mission statement that we've been working on. This is the mission statement as written, and I guess just a lot of work went into it from the PR committee. This is what we came up with. And we're hoping to pass it into legislation next semester. It'll be something for Dan to work on. But it reads, I should have emailed it so you could all read it, but I'll read it to you. This is how it goes. The undergraduate student government of Case Western Reserve University is a paramount student organization run by dedicated and knowledgeable students for the benefit of students. Our mission is to act as a liaison between and correspond directly with the administration and undergraduates regarding information and legislation that aims to provide students with the best undergraduate experience. Additionally, we strive to foster the growth and development of USG-recognized student organizations by providing a helpful and efficient structure through which students can most effectively utilize the student activities fee to improve campus life for all undergraduate students. That is our mission statement as it reads right now. And other than that, I am open to points. Also, I want to read my meme before it goes away. Can't read it.
Any points for the speaker? Any points? All right. Thank you, Laura. No points. And IT?
I'll do mine from here too. I couldn't be happier.
Why are you no working?
That is totally the, yeah. I couldn't be happier with all that IT's done over this year. I think we've made great strides in print to hear and case wireless and these things, making them better for students. So the full list is in the agenda, and I'm open to points.
Points for the speaker. Okay. Seeing none, Parliamentarian Smith.
Thanks for a great semester and putting up with this transition. I know it's been hard, but you guys did wonderfully tonight and for these past few meetings. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to a great year next year. I'm going to be returning as a rep, and I'm super excited about that.
Any points for Vice President Hale?
Is the speaker aware it looks very suspicious that he does not have a meme? Oh.
More resolutions?
Oops.
All right. Any other points for the speaker? Okay. And committee report. So are there any caucus reports? Yes, Representative McHenry.
I just wanted to thank everyone who came out to the engineering mixer on Friday. Okay. Anyway, it was awesome. We had way more people than we had expected. We actually had a line at one point. We got rid of most of the food. I especially want to thank Representatives Kalmeyer and Ladelfa for all the hard work they put in. And let's do this again sometime soon.
Representative Shah.
So I would love to thank all of my caucus members for a great year. Thank you so much, all of you. I'm staring at all of you. Thank you. All right. I just wanted to announce that although we were unable to put our project for this semester, which was a set of student faculty dinners for the freshman class, into action, we did submit a fairly lengthy and well thought out and well written proposal to Dean Walkowitz, who would like to continue our efforts and champion that project next semester. That's how enthusiastic he was about it. And so that will be going into effect next semester. We just had a couple issues, as it is the end of the year, with dates and finding a time that would work for the students. But thank you again, and great job.
Are there any other caucus reports? Representative Watts?
The nursing caucus is co-hosting the end of the year barbecue with USNA on May 1st at noon. It's for the undergraduate nurses to introduce the new representatives and to gain ideas for next year's initiatives. And they've thoroughly enjoyed working with USG, or USNA has thoroughly enjoyed working with USG this year to meet the students' needs. Thank you.
Very good. Any last reports? Anything from Weatherhead or College of Arts and Sciences? Want to say some last thoughts? Representative Gallo.
I'm not really announcing anything, but I guess it's a cool thing to say. Thanks everyone for your hard work this year. I got into the role of Arts and Science Caucus Leader towards the middle of the second semester. We weren't able to do as much as we wanted to just because of the structure of how it had been, but we did come up with a list of things for next year's caucus to focus on, and hopefully they have the initiative to do that, because we want to see the College of Arts and Science grow and really produce some great people and great students. So thanks for all your hard work.
Great. If there are no other reports, we are in open forum. Any points for open forum? Any points? Representative Rangan-Swamy.
Move to adjourn?
Not yet. Too soon. Any other points? No? Oh, nothing to say? All right. Advisors report. Colleen. Wow, that's fantastic.
Where did you Okay, that's just too funny. Okay, 2 seconds, I promise. I think, sorry, I think history was made tonight. I think this is truly the longest USG meeting I've ever been at. Yes, it's awesome. So I really can't thank all of you enough. I'm not going to take too much time to do that, but I do. So many of you were here in September, and so many of you came in throughout the year, but I feel like every single one of you has devoted yourself to this organization, and I cannot thank you enough. I think my greatest, one of my top 5 memories is going to be midnight kickball at Relay for Life. Seriously, just the enthusiasm, just USG. I mean, it was Steve and Dan and Divya and all of you who are involved. Janice, shout out big time for that. You started a new tradition, there's no question. It was really, truly awesome. So it's things like that that you guys have made such a difference. Every student organization, you know, their experience through USG is because of you. Every single caucus discussion you have, thank you for every single one of them, for really meaning what you do, and I really appreciate it. And this is, I don't speak on Thursday, it's not my role. This is your inauguration, so this is my only time to say it. So the other thing I really wanted to do was to thank Divya. I have not met someone who loves this organization quite like you do. You have poured, you know, the sign of a really good leader is someone who can step into a position at any time, and I don't think there's a position in this room that you couldn't have filled. You have done an exceptional job. It has been a privilege to work with you this year. So thank you very much.
All right, we are now in announcements. Any announcements? Treasurer Williams.
So you notice there was not a Who Wants to Win Candy from the Treasurer's question this week. I have a completely different question for you. What will you be doing 166 and a half hours from now? Oh, wow. It's Who Wants to Go to Twing Study Over, and it's everybody. Because it's fantastic this year. Of course, we have massages, we have Melt, we have Mitchell's. We have all sorts of fun places. Cheesecake Factory. Please come. It's going to be awesome. So.
All right, Speaker McKee.
Hey guys, I just want to thank all of you for making my job moving into speaker really easy. And one group that former parliamentarian McKee would like to thank is any judicial board justices for helping out in sometimes really tough situations or help really making some important decisions. So I just want to make sure that group gets recognized too. Thank you.
Representative Gallo.
Speaking of Twing Study Over, not only is there a bunch of delicious food, there's also a USG booth. So if you want to help by and stop and help out, I'm pretty sure there's a list online, like a Google Doc that you can sign up. And if there isn't, I guess I'll make one. And I'm pretty sure we're having it's a carnival theme, Twing Study Over. So what we're doing for our booth is we have like that game where you have pop bottles, like the glass bottles, and you're tossing rings and trying to win prizes and stuff like that. So it should be fun. Sign up and give it a whirl.
Representative McHenry.
All I want to say is good luck on your finals, everyone.
Secretary Brown.
Two things, guys. So come see me if you guys filled out the reflection survey I sent you guys. Thank you so much. I have a treat for you guys afterwards. And also, that little placard that you guys have in front of you is yours to keep. I don't need it back tonight.
Frame it. Frame it. Get it signed. Representative Digby.
On May 5th, FISI will be having its 24-hour softball tournament to benefit the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation of Cleveland. So if you aren't on a team, you should sign one up, unless you hate kids with cystic fibrosis.
Still in a meeting, guys. Almost there. Representative Ladelfa.
Yeah, so thanks for all the volunteers at Relay for Life. It was great, and I do want to give a thanks to Dan. He was running the show at the USG Kickball, and it was great to have his help, and Divya and Colleen, in addition to Janice and myself. So thank you, and thanks to everybody else who helped out too.
Vice President Cruz.
Two things. Make sure you stop by our Springfest booth this weekend on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun and have some probably delicious goodies. Secondly, I forgot to give out candy for Rep Spotlight, so the treasurers need to come find me afterwards.
Representative McHenry.
I forgot to put before, coming soon, Zeta Psi will be hosting the Cadobo Relays. Come watch guys run a quarter mile, eat a burrito, then run another quarter mile. It will be very entertaining, and I will probably be doing it in a Speedo.
Okay. Vice President Shah.
And also, I
Vice President Dooner. Okay, dissent one more time. I have one more point before you guys leave. I do have one more point. I want to, we just came from the Dorothy Pajan Leadership Awards, and I want to recognize several undergraduate student government members were recognized at this award ceremony, and it's incredible. We have Patrick Vaughn was recognized, Dipti Rangaswamy was recognized, Colin Williams was recognized, Elena Stechu on behalf of Student Sustainability Council was recognized, Dan Gallo was recognized as Outstanding USG Member. Who am I missing? This just happened. Am I missing anybody? But yeah, great showing. It was fantastic. Several USG recognized organizations were also awarded. And this is my last GA in forever, and I can't believe it. And thank you all for a wonderful experience. If I don't see you at inauguration, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is an amazing, incredible organization. Do it all 4 years. You won't regret it. That's all I have to say. I love USG. Anybody? Representative Rangaswamy.
Now I think it's proper move to adjourn.
Thank you. me some of that cake.